Okay, so let's go ahead and determine what 2 times 4 to the e power is equal to. And I'm going to give you an answer that it has a basically, let's do this problem without the aid of a calculator. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. And then I'm going to give you a decimal version because both forms are appropriate in this problem because you very likely might see this on a test like in Algebra 2. So this is kind of like an Algebra 2 level topic or college algebra or pre-calculus, anything beyond a first year algebra 1, certainly not pre-algebra. And that's kind of why I say, hey, listen, you got to know how to do this if you're going to pass these level courses, okay? And we're going to talk about the different skill sets that you need to be able to handle this problem. But this is not that difficult. If you're studying this, it shouldn't be that difficult. Let's just say that, okay? So if you're kind of stressed out about this stuff, just relax. I'm going to teach you how to handle this particular problem. Then I'm going to give you some suggestions on how to, improve, in this kind of like field of topics and skills that you need to be able to handle this problem. Okay, so again, we're going to get to this in just 1 second, but first, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is John. I'm the founder of TabletClass Math. I'm also a middle and high school math teacher, and over several years, I've constructed what I like to believe is one of the best online math help programs there is. Of course, that's a bold statement. I'll let you be the judge of that statement. You can check out my math help program by following the link in the description of this video. But basically, I have 100 plus different math courses. Now, I have all the big courses like Algebra 2, Pre-Algebra, Geometry, Algebra 1. Going to be launching Pre-Calculus here soon. But I have many specialty courses, especially in the area of test preparation. So if you're studying for tests like the GED, SAT, ACT, GRE, GMAT, you kind of get the picture. There's a ton of them. A teacher certification exam, a nursing entrance exam, Accuplacer, ALEX. There's a lot of reasons why people study math outside of, let's say, taking college algebra or algebra 2. Okay, people are saying that I have to go back and review high school level mathematics to pass this exam, to get my certification or get into a particular program. So I get that, and I have many specialty custom built test preparation courses. So you can check those out again on my website. I also have a homeschooling system. So I have all the main courses for that I teach, like Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, Pre-Algebra. And I have a homeschooling kind of system that you can supplement with those courses. So I work a lot with homeschoolers and independent learners. And then, of course, I do a ton of support for those of you who are actually taking these courses like Algebra 2, College Algebra, Algebra 1, and you're struggling, in your class for whatever reason. Okay, so you can kind of check out my program if you like my teaching style and learn this stuff. Okay, this is not difficult. It doesn't have to be difficult. Let's just say that. Okay, so wherever you're at in math, just know one thing: you can always improve. All right, and you're going to have to improve. And the first place you want to start improving, or you want to kind of validate that you're doing well in, that's the area of note taking. Okay, this is such a critical skill or requirement. I would say this is a requirement to do well in any math course is to have great math notes. And I kind of call this my golden rule of math over decades of teaching mathematics. One thing that's apparent to me, those students who take great math notes almost always have great math grades. They always look like this at the end of the year. They have a big happy face and are so excited with their grades. Look at me, I got an A plus. I'm like, yeah, you're awesome. You took excellent math notes. I've seen students that take notes that are so like awesome. They're better than my notes. It's like, man, because they've been working at it for such a long time. Then you got people that take no notes, sloppy notes. That kind of reminds me when I was in high school. They're like doing this kind of work, or like every other day they'll write a little scribbles, something or the other on the note. That was me back in the good old days. And if there was smartphones back when I went to school, I don't even know if I would graduate. I mean, the distractions today are insane. So I get that, but you have to remain focused. You have to. It's going to be up to you. All right. But I'm telling you in advance right now that if you can't remain focused, there's no way you're going to be able to pass math. So get rid of the distractions, engage in this activity, which is taking notes, paying attention to your teacher, working hard. That's going to really help you look like this person at the end of your math course. But as you improve in your note taking, you need something to study from. So I offer detailed comprehensive math notes to include pre-algebra, algebra 1, geometry, algebra 2, and trigonometry. This topic here would be if you're interested in like exponential logarithm equations, you want to check out my algebra 2 trig notes. Okay, so let's get into this problem. And here we have 2 times 4 to the 2e power. So we want to approach this as if your teacher says, do this without a calculator, and or do this problem and give me a decimal, estimation of the answer. Okay, so both are good problems that you need to know, certainly at this level. Okay, if you can't do this problem, you're going to have a difficult time, at this particular level of mathematics. Now, what is going to be required here? Well, we have multiplication, right? Here we got multiplication going on, and we have powers going on. So we're going to need to know about powers, and then we have this little e. Okay, so if those of you who don't know what e is, well, if you're studying logarithms and natural logarithms, ln, this is the natural base e, okay? It is approximately equal to 2.718, et cetera, et cetera. I'll talk a little bit more about e here in a second. So this is an actual number, very much like pi, okay? It's an irrational number. It goes on and on and on, and we give it a nice little symbol, but it's one of the most important values in mathematics, okay? Just like pi is. All right, so again, here, let's take a look at how I would approach this problem without a calculator, and then we'll finish up using our calculator to get a decimal equivalent. Now, anytime you think you can do this problem on your own, you should pause the video and see what you know, but let's get to the solution now. Okay, so I kind of pre-wrote this out so we can kind of just focus in on things. So let's just quickly think here. Okay, this is a number, okay, but I can think of 2 as 2 to the first, and I have 4. Now, if I have 2 times 4, obviously that is 8, okay? But we're dealing with powers here, okay, very explicitly. So here we're like, well, how could I write this in powers? Well, 2 times 4, well, I could think of the 4 as 2 squared, right? So if that's the case, okay, I can now kind of work in powers because this is 2 to the first, or 2. So when the bases are the same, these bottom numbers are the same, I can simply add the exponents. So 2 and 1, 2 plus 1 is obviously 3. Okay, so 2 cubed is 8. But I'm just kind of using this real basic illustration that if the bases are the same, then I can add the powers. Okay, so that's kind of the way we want to be thinking in this particular problem. Is here I have 2, okay, I can think of that as 2 to the first. And then here, I have this 4, okay. It's definitely not a base 2, but I could rewrite 4 as a base 2. I can think of 4 as 2 squared, okay. So this 4 to the 2e power, I can write as 2 squared to the 2e power, okay. This is very, very important that you understand this, and you should always be thinking when you see a problem like this, well, try to always go for the same base, okay? Get those bases the same, all right? Whatever the case might be, if you can kind of do some algebraic manipulation by, whatever you need to do, factor out. There's a lot of different little tricks and stuff of the trade, if you will, but just focus on trying to get the bases the same. That's going to help us out. All right. Okay, so we have 2 squared to the 2e power. Now, let's just kind of go and review something. Let's say I have 2 squared to the 3rd power, okay? This is basic rules of powers and exponents. What's this equal to? Now, if you said 2 to the 5th, then give yourself a sad face. That's not good. Okay, you got to go watch more of my YouTube videos or maybe jump into my algebra course. Okay, I also teach this in my Algebra 2 course. This is wrong. No, no, no. 2 squared to the 3rd power is 2 to the 6th. Okay, so if you got that, definitely give yourself a happy face and a couple stars just for good order. Okay, so these are the little errors that are going to get you in trouble. Remember, math builds upon itself. Okay, when you're done with one course and you go on to continue to take another course, you got to know that stuff. That's why there's just too much information. And one other thing too, when you finish any math course, okay, definitely don't throw your great notes away. Hold on to them for reference. All right, so let's continue on here. We got to know all this little stuff or we won't be able to solve this problem. Okay, so here, 2 squared to the 2e, I can distribute this 2e to that 2. And when I do that, I get 2 to the first. Okay, this is my 2, or 2 to the first, times 2 to the 4e. Okay, this is my exponent. So now the bases are the same, so I can simply add the exponents, 1 and 4e, or 1 plus 4e, and that is my exponent to the base of 2. So this would be the solution without a calculator. Again, if you got this right, definitely give yourself an A+. That's fantastic. All right, now let's go in and talk about getting a decimal equivalent in our calculator, because we need to know how to use our calculator. And this level of math, using your more advanced scientific or graphing calculators is kind of a class in and of itself. Okay, so let's go back and talk about this E. Okay, that's the natural base E, and there's a whole kind of formula that goes along with that. I don't want to get into that discussion right now, but it's approximately equal to 2.718281. It goes on and on and on into infinity. So on your calculator, look where the LOG button's at. It's somewhere around there, and you have to pull up your second function, this function, your second, and look for e to the x. You should see that function on somewhere on your calculator, and then we want to go ahead and just determine what e to the first power is, and you'll see this number here. Okay, this nice irrational number that's so critically important. So that's how you bring up this value, but you're going to have to figure out what this is with using the decimal. So how would we do this? Well, this is a good challenge. I can't tell you specifically because each calculator is different, but it would look something like this: 2, and then like the caret key. Okay, the caret key, this key right here is called a caret. It's like the y to the x or x to the y. We have to bring up powers. Always use parentheses when you're dealing with power. So you have 1 plus 4 times e. You got to bring up that e, or e to the first. Okay, so practice doing that and then do close parentheses. But if you do all that correctly, you'll end up with an approximation of 3,751.18, okay, or 0.17, etc. You can kind of round it off, but this is the answer that I'd be looking for. Now, if you're able to get this answer and this answer, then man, you're just like awesome. I would be like, you're just like on fire. Matter of fact, I might just tell you to just take the rest of the year off. You're so impressive. Just take the book with you. Teach yourself everything you need to know. No, obviously, this problem is not extremely difficult. There's much more difficult problems along these topics, and that, again, we're talking about exponential functions. You're talking about the natural base E, so that means you're going to be studying logarithms. But in order to study and master logarithmic and exponential functions, you got to know about powers and exponents. We kind of reviewed those basic concepts, and always try to get the bases the same. Okay, and you got to be able to handle your calculator as well. So you should go into your calculator and just make sure that you can get this decimal value. So many students make, they have the right idea, but they plug in the values incorrectly, especially with powers. I've done other videos on this with powers and exponents, and in your calculator, it's so easy to make a mistake. Okay, here, let me just tell you very, very quickly. Let's see if I can remember. If, let's say I'm doing 2 to the 2/3 power, okay? You're like, okay, that's no problem. If I told you to go in your calculator, right now, I bet you 50% of you are going to do this incorrectly, okay? 2 to the 2/3 power. Now, go ahead and pause the video and go ahead and see what you would do. So some of you would turn a 2/3 into a decimal. Well, that's fine, okay? But most of you would go like this. All right, 2 to 2/3 power, you'll be 2 to you do the power button, then 2 divided by 3, okay? I'm telling you right now, half of you probably made that mistake. And if you're still watching this video, you're going to be happy that you made this mistake with me and not on a test or quiz, because what you just did right here is completely wrong, all right? This is not good. This right here is what is this algebraically speaking? Well, this is 2, remember we do powers before division, the order of operations. So what you just did here is 2 squared divided by 3. That's what you just did. No, it's not 2 to the 2/3 power. Okay, I want you to Make sure you understand that. All right, you're like, oh, okay, okay. So to do 2 to the 2/3 power, you have to do 2 caret, you have to use grouping symbols, the parentheses 2 divided by 3. Okay, so this is the way you should type it in, not like this. It's same numbers, same operations, but these little grouping symbols make all the difference in the world. Go back and remember your PEMDAS, your order of operations stuff. So again, math builds upon itself. It's the little details, okay, that mean the difference between right and wrong answers. Okay, so hopefully this was a good video for you. And you're like, all right, I feel confident I'm going to end up like this guy. You definitely can. Wherever you're at in math, you can do dramatic turnarounds. Okay, I've seen it all over the years. So don't feel like it's too late, okay, to start correcting or improving. All right, it's never too late. All right, but you got to start doing things in a different way. So if you're not taking great notes, start taking great notes. And if you need to, work outside of the classroom, if you need more instruction, then you definitely check out my Math Help program. If you like my teaching style, you'll love my math courses. But on my channel, I have hundreds and hundreds of videos that you can take advantage of, basic to advanced math. So hopefully you consider subscribing. And if you like this video, please consider smashing that like button. That definitely helps me out. Okay, so with that being said, I definitely wish you all the best in all your mathematics adventures. Thank you for your time and have a great day.